Yeah, I mean, first of all, just, congratulate our guys in the locker room right there getting a win. I mean, that is awesome to start the season off 1-0. Nothing that we ever take for granted to be able to get out here and get a win. Had a great start to the game. Got out offensively, man, and was hitting on all cylinders. It's hard to maintain that, I think, throughout the game. And, but I still think overall, offensively, we did some good things. Disappointed on the turnover that we had on the long run there on the third down offensively. And I do think, Brendan played a really good game. I think he could have played a lot better. And I think there's a couple plays he'd like to have back for sure that would have helped, get some more points up on the board. But overall, was pleased the way he played. He ran the offense very effectively, threw the ball accurately, threw it away when he needed to at times. Also, with his legs, generated some nice yards, including a couple touchdowns. So played a lot of guys, man. We had 34 guys made their debut at UC today. So that's a lot, and I think we traveled 75 guys maybe. So half of them was their first time they ever played here. I think new defense. I thought, there were some times out there. Obviously, we gave up a couple plays there with the slant that went for a long touchdown. And then the quarterback scrambling, throwing in the back of the end zone, kind of threw it up, and the guy comes down and catches it. Two big plays defensively that we gave up, and then the two other big plays, in my mind, were the two overzealous plays that we had on the quarterback. You guys getting rid of it and you're hitting them. You got to be careful. We all know that. So, I think take away those 3 or 4 plays there, and could have been a different thing. I thought our guys ran hard and hit was very physical. From the defensive perspective, but we got to clean up the turnover stuff. I mean, there's no question. I mean, we create a turnover, we pick it up, and then we give it right back to them. I mean, those are opportunities that are lost. Proud of Pryor. Pryor came in and had over 100 yards today. Obviously, popped the big long one for a touchdown, but he ran fast, hard, which was good to see. And Xavier, had another big game for us. Was good to see, and I think Joe Royer obviously had a good game, but takes a little bit off of Xavier, and I think that's going to be a good combination as we look at it throughout the season. And proud of Sterling to be able to catch that nice deep one down there for a touchdown. But I think overall proud of our guys, obviously, but we still got a lot of work to do as we head into week 2.
Questions for Coach? Chad?
Adjusting defensively, like you mentioned, a bunch of new players, a new system. Probably knew it wasn't going to look anything near a finished product today. How far along do you think they are in that process?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to look and tell how far along you are. I mean, obviously we're not anywhere near where we need to be. I think on the positive side, we played a ton of guys on defense. I mean, a ton. I mean, if we go back and count, I mean, we'll obviously know in the press conference, but at least 8 or 9 linebackers, 12 DBs. I mean, we played a lot of guys, and this is early. We're rotating guys. I know we did up front as well. So that's a positive. So there's a lot of guys young guys that are out there playing that man, they made some plays. There were times when we're out of our gaps. Obviously, and I think that's to be expected sometimes when you got a new defense, first time, in a game, and going out and making these corrections. I mean, we'll be able to make those this week, and obviously we're going to need to as we play, Pitt next week. I mean, obviously there's ACC team that has a lot of talent, so we'll have to be much better.
Kind of going off of that, Towson had a good day running the ball. How much of a difference does adding someone like Dante Corleone to the defensive line make, just in terms of the whole defensive scheme, not just kind of plugging up lanes in the run game?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to make a huge difference whenever he's able to go because, he demands so much attention up front. When you're thinking about it, a center and probably 2 guards that are going to have to know where he's at. That's going to free up linebackers to run. He's going to get penetration. He's going to be in the backfield more. I mean, it's going to give you one more added, All-American in the rotation up front that'll certainly help. But also just the psyche for everybody. I mean, to be able to have him up front, he's so well respected on our team, and to be able to have him out there playing, I think will make a huge difference. There's no question about it.
You still ran for 275 yards, but normally you're a little more balanced. Was today just a luxury where Brendan was able to throw the ball? Because this is probably something you're not going to do with every game, 383
No,
yards.
I mean, 383 and 275, I mean, we'll take that every week if we can. I mean, that'd be good. I think just early on, we popped a few long throws, and it seemed to be what was available at the time. I mean, we ran a few plays and we didn't get many yards rushing the ball there early, and so we continued to push the ball down the field, and we were able to make some plays down the field, which I think in return opened up the running game later on in the game, and our guys were able to pop some good plays. But it was good to see several guys. I mean, 3 guys over 50 yards. I mean, that was nice. But Evan popping that one play, I think right out of halftime was big. To be able to go back and get it explosive. That was one of the things that we talked about all off season. Trying to get some more explosive in the run game. We didn't have as many for touchdowns last year, so that was good to have that.
Jared Bartlett, 6 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and 1 sack. Talk about his performance today.
Yeah, Jared coming in from West Virginia was more of an outside linebacker in the boundary. So, he gets in here and we put him more in the middle of the defense. So he's right over the ball. It gives him a lot more access to make plays. And where he does a great job is just downhill, filling in the A-gaps and then right off the tackles. And I thought he played a really good game today. He caused havoc. We've been seeing that all camp. He provides some size in there, but also some good strength and speed. And I think he'll continue to do that. I think he'll, as we go throughout the season, be able to continue to put pressure on offenses and be able to get in the backfield. I think that's where he's really good at, but also it's good to see out in space and being able to make some plays. So I thought Jared had a great game.
You guys had 8 plays of 20 or more yards. How good was it to see that as your offense looks to be more explosive this season?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's good. It's one of the things that we talked about this all season, how to get more explosive plays, how to push the ball down the field. And in the first half, we were able to do that. I feel like in the second half, not as much. I mean, just the flow was a little bit different, obviously, in the second half. But early on in the game, man, it was exciting to watch. A lot of big plays coming from a lot of different people. And then our quarterback being able to, hit the ball down the field was good today. And I still think, man, we left some plays out there. We'll get better with that. We'll be able to, have some more explosives, hopefully, as we go throughout this season. But, AT had a nice big, broke a tackle, went there early in the game with a nice big one as well. So that's what I like, because it wasn't just one guy. I mean, there was several guys that were making the big plays, pushing the ball down the field.
Coach, special teams miscues cost about 6 points today. What are your thoughts on that unit coming off of last season?
Yeah, we got to get better. I mean, we missed a field goal today. We muffed a punt and lost it. We got to get a lot better with it. I did think, they did not kick it deep on us, but we took advantage in the kickoff return game, getting some great field position every time they did kick it off. Mace punted the ball great. Have some positives in the special teams, but I do think, anytime you turn the ball over, that's a no-no for sure in the special teams, and you got to knock down the field goals. As we get, you get tighter games, closer games, man, those points are crucial.
Coach, you mentioned the 34 Bearcats that made their debut today. Talk about Jaquan Sanks. Obviously, he became the first true freshman since 2015 to make a start. Just talk about what you saw from him today.
Yeah, I just go back to recruiting Sanks. I mean, obviously, we really liked him a lot when we recruited him, just his personality and also the way he played high school football. He kind of turned heads when he got here. As we put him in and started playing him, we're like, man, he just keeps showing up, keeps making plays. We're rotating about 3 or 4 guys at his position. And as we go through camp, he just kept being probably the more solid player in the run and pass. He was more downhill, making the tackles, but also was able to recognize pass and get back in the pass game. So, it's outstanding work from a true freshman. You really, right where his position is, that's a very, very difficult position. And I really believe, like those freshmen that played today, and we had several that played, they'll see some big jumps in how much better they'll get from week 1 to week 2 to week 3, just because they've never played. I mean, that experience they're going to be able to get, he'll grow so much off of that. And, it's great to see him go out there and produce like he did. And I think, man, he's got a bright future ahead of him for sure.
Without watching the tape, happy with the offensive line today. I know you didn't have Phil, but the rest of the group looked like they did really good.
Yeah, I mean, I think they did solid. I mean, I think, man, they had a couple of players I think were pretty good. I mean, their number 40 is a good player. We're looking at tape from last year. He caused some problems a little bit today. But I do think they protected well. I mean, I think, we got out of pocket a few times just because they were dropping 8, and Sorsby did a good job outside the pocket, those unscheduled plays. But I think overall they did solid. I mean, anytime you're going to get 650 yards, your line's probably going to do something pretty good, and I thought he did.
You talked about some of the special teams miscues today. There were also a handful of fumbles. You talked about the big plays that were the defensive line. How do you go about cleaning some of that up quickly? Again, the fumbles.
Well, I mean, the punt was we had him up too tight. That was on us. And it gets punted over his head. The wind was going that way, and you're trying to go back. You're trying to make a play. Sometimes you got to let that go. I mean, that's a decision. You just got to let it go. Vic's running down the sideline after breaking a tackle. He's got the ball on his inside arm. And what's going to happen when you start slowing down at the end? People are going to come punch it out, but you got to have it in your outside arm. These are fundamental mistakes. And the third turnover was Varner picking a ball up. He's a defensive lineman. I told him you got to carry it with two hands. So he's probably never carried a ball in his life, So, hopefully that doesn't happen again. That if he picks it up, he'll just fall down. And I think we got to get those things corrected. And then we're overzealous on a couple of those. We're trying to, rush the quarterback, get after the quarterback. Well, if he's throwing the ball, you got to pull off. And that's sometimes difficult, but those are the things we got to coach through, because they'll cost us in big games. Because you think about the drive right before half. I mean, they're done. It was third down, and they threw a screen pass to the tight end. We got them tackled. They're gonna have to punt, and now we do that. Now they end up getting a field goal. Those are the things that'll hurt you. But we got to coach through that and get those guys to be smarter.
You've coached a lot of quarterbacks in your career. Do you have to remind yourself that Sorsby's only started 7 games, only played in 10? Because talent-wise, it looks like he's got a lot of room to still grow.
Yeah, he does. Well, he's only started one game for us. I mean,
right. In his career, though.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, but it's a new offense. You got, he hears all these numbers and letters and words that are coming in. You got to relay that. Then you got to look at the defense. Then you got to figure out where to go with the ball. I mean, it's a lot that's going on, particularly with a guy, he's been here for 6 months. And so, yeah, it's very pleasing to see. I do think, he's got a lot of ball ahead of him. I think the sky's the limit. He's got arm talent. He's got some poise. He's got some legs. I mean, he's got great size. I mean, so, he's got a lot of things that are going for him. The biggest thing is just always taking what the defense gives you. I feel like today, there's most of the pass plays we called, there's probably a guy that we can get the ball to, and maybe sometimes we're trying to force it somewhere else. But, I mean, that's coming from, inexperience, and that's coming from a guy who's still learning in the offense. But there's a lot of good stuff, and I'm going to try to lean on that and hopefully grow from where we're at today.
Going back to the 275 rushing yards you guys had today, over 200 of those were in the second half. Were there any adjustments you guys made at halftime to run the ball at a more prolific rate in the second half?
Yeah, there was a couple of things that we did. I think adjusting where we ran the football. I think early in the game we were running it back to the field. In the second half, ran it more to the boundary. Felt like we had a little bit better, more advantageous to run it into the boundary, and it worked. It paid off. I mean, the first time we hit it was Pryor's run. I mean, that was the first time we went over there on the outside zone and hit for 61 yards. So, and then I think also in the fourth quarter, we probably relied more on the run. At the game, we're like, hey, listen, let's get this run game going. So now you're getting more carries than what we did in the first half. I felt like they were giving us a pass, and we were taking it.
What does this game do for Royer's confidence? At Ohio State, he only caught 4 balls. A lot of things went on. He had 5 today, and I think 5 at halftime.
Yeah, at 5 at 1/2. I think Royer's having a lot of fun. I mean, he's a fun guy to be around. He's extremely talented. With size, speed, got great hands. Runs, like a wide receiver at that size. That's hard to find that. I think he can continue to get better again because he hadn't played a lot of ball either. I mean, he's really relatively inexperienced player, although he looks pretty good out there. I think he's going to be a mismatch problem for some guys throughout the season. I think he'll continue to get better as well, and we're going to have plays designed for him. I mean, we have to. He's one of our better players on our football team, but I think he's having a lot of fun. The teammates like him, they respect him. He's great to have in our locker room.
Any other questions for Coach? Thank you, sir.
All right, thanks, guys.
questions?
You had some family here. Did it feel like you were playing in the backyard there in the first half?
Yeah, had a good amount of family show up, a couple of buddies from back home, so it was good to have them here. Obviously had a good, strong start to the game. Definitely some things that we could still improve on, and even in the first half, we had a really strong first half, but obviously could improve on some things, but it was really good to get back out there and play some ball.
How much do you look at this as an opportunity that now you've got game tape, now you've got some stuff that's not against your own guys that you can go back and kind of fine-tune?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Obviously, any game reps that you can get regardless of who you're playing and, where it's at, even just as long as it's a different team, it's valuable, very valuable to get those reps and just see, obviously we're out there like on live television, obviously, so this is a game. Like we're not practicing against our own guys for the 8th month in a row anymore, so it's good to get some reps against some other guys and, obviously build off that.
Towson was able to put together some long drives after you guys got off to a hot start. Was sitting on the sideline, did that kind of nullify stuff and kind of make you guys struggle a little bit later in the game?
No, the defense, did a great job. Obviously, they had a couple big plays, but, sitting over there on the sidelines, not a bad thing. Obviously, you can throw on the sideline, do whatever you need to do to stay warm, but no, it really didn't affect too much.
Brendan, could you just walk us through that touchdown to Sterling there, the third one there, RPO? Do you think he would be any more open than that one after you saw the play
definitely
progress?
didn't think he'd be any more open than that. Didn't think it was even an option, really. Like, we don't really start there at all. It was kind of one of those things. I just saw it and was like, well, hopefully coach isn't too mad about throwing a touchdown because we're not supposed to throw it to this guy. But, he obviously doesn't really ask too many questions if we get 6 out of it. So.
You had 2 touchdowns, 42 yards, 61 yards in the first quarter. How good did it feel for you and your receivers to hit those explosive plays? Is your offense tries to hit more of those this season?
Yeah, it felt really good. Obviously, any deep shot that you can score fast on is really fun and exciting. And obviously, if you can hook up on those, like you said, it's explosive plays win games. And if you can score quick, it's obviously very important. Obviously, the receivers did a great job today. Tight ends did a great job today. And really, the run game helped us so much with the deep shots. Ran for 275, I believe. So, just outstanding job by the O-line today. It was a good all-around day.
Joe Royer and Xavier Henderson, we kind of saw that connection between you guys during fall camp. How have you built that relationship and bond with those two on the field?
Yeah, like you just said right there, like fall camp, spring ball, obviously all those reps add up, and whenever you get out on the field, it's really you're just practicing out there. It's just a live game, obviously I would much rather play a game than practice. I tell coaches all the time, I'm like, can we just stop practicing already, like one of those type deals. I'm like, practice is fun for a few days at the beginning of spring ball, and then after that, it just starts to wear you down a little bit. No, I'm just kidding, but it was good to get out there and just start hooking up with those guys again, obviously, because that's what we've been doing all fall camp, all spring ball.
You talked about the hot start, the great start, 2 touchdowns in the first quarter, but then the 17 points the rest of the way after that. What do you think changed after that first quarter, after those 3 scores?
Really just the ability to finish. Obviously, we made a couple mistakes. I missed a couple throws, and we had the weird deal with the snap and everything that kind of stopped the drive, and just like that type of stuff. Obviously, the ball security that we're going to work on, obviously, this week of practice, that type of stuff. And really, like, we drove the ball. We continually drove the ball. We just got to find a way to put it in the end zone.
Did you notice any difference with the tablets on the sideline? Did you feel it changed anything, made anything better?
Really, it's just instant correction pretty much. Obviously, you're good to go on the sideline and, see what the coach is seeing, see what you didn't see out there, and get to make those corrections pretty much instantly and just continue to use that throughout the game will be very huge for us. It was very, very nice to have today.
You were able to stay clean, no sacks today, work through progressions. How important was that, just getting out there game one and being able to work through progressions with a solid base in front of you in your first few reps as a Bearcat?
It's awesome to have 5 guys up front, and we even rotated a couple others in there, and they held their own as well. Like, whenever you have time to sit back there and work through some stuff, it's huge, and if you're always having to throw your first progression, that's not a good thing. So I guess just the simple answer is it's just really nice to have.
You had the negative run play in the red zone, and then Coach Satterfield calls a design run from 3rd and pretty long. Is that a play where you kind of when he radios it in, you go, okay, like whatever you say, coach, maybe this will work. And did you expect to be that wide open for a touchdown?
There's another one of those things. Like obviously, you don't ever expect to just walk in the end zone, but I like the play call. Obviously, we scored off of it, so it was a good one. But yeah, I messed up. It was a bad read on me on the play prior, so I appreciate him going back to me on that next play and trusting me with it, and it worked out.
What did you see in the second half that allowed you guys to rush for over 200 yards after a first half where you maybe struggled to get those big chunk yardage on the ground?
Obviously, I felt like the backs were doing a good job of pressing the hole at the start of the game as well, but they just started the hole started to open up a little bit more. The O-line was really working out there today, and yeah, I mean, they just started hitting the holes and had a couple of big runs that kept building off of one another. So, yeah, I mean, it was nice to see.
Through the preseason, you said you were waiting for your first big hit, and then it was game on. Do you feel like you got that first big hit today, or are you still waiting?
No, there was definitely a couple out there that I got hit pretty good on. So, not waiting any longer. I would prefer if we actually stayed away from those big hits. Now, obviously, I've got them out of the way. So, it felt good to get out there and get hit a little bit.
Any other questions for Brendan? Thank you, sir. Thanks, Brendan.
Thank y'all.
Quick start for the offense. Did it feel good to get out there and see somebody else on the other side and start making some plays?
Yeah, it always felt good. I've been telling our defense for a while, I'm tired of going against you guys, man. I want to go against some different colors, different defense. Yeah, it felt good. Our first game back, yeah, it felt great.
Looked like the connection with Brendan was pretty good. Did it feel really good to kind of just show the crowd and the fans here what they should expect the rest of the season?
Yeah, it felt good coming back, like I was telling him, but I feel like we got a lot of stuff to work on, a lot of stuff to coach off of, and we got a long season to prepare for.
As good as that first half was, the second half got a little sluggish. If you're on the offense on the sidelines, are you kind of, I don't know, just getting anxious, like, come on, let us back in?
I feel like we worked so hard this offseason, and coming into this game one, our motto was play clean. So that's what I kept preaching to the guys, like trying to keep the energy up, play clean, ball security, and just keep going. Next play mentality.
Glad to see Burkhalter hauling a long one.
Yeah, I'm glad to see my guy get one. Yeah, he came in, he got him a long one. First tud in the nipper.
How early in a play like your touchdown do you know if the ball's there, I got him?
Say that again?
Like how early in a route on the touchdown, the play action, the post route, how early do you know, like if the ball's there, I got 6?
That's just self-confidence. I feel like I know once the play is called, that's how I feel. That's just me.
What's it like watching Joe Royer kind of create that space underneath, and how much of a luxury is it for a boundary guy to have a tight end that's able to take a defense with him?
Yeah, that's real cool. Yeah, he a big body, real athletic guy. Yeah, I'm glad we got Joe Royer here. He's gonna do a lot for us this season. I ain't gonna lie. Joe, that's my guy.
28 yards after the catch today. You mentioned that earlier in camp and leading in the week one that you were working on yak throughout the offseason. How do you feel like you performed in that facet today?
I feel like I could have took advantage of it a little more in certain situations, but like I said, we got a lot of tape to coach off of and a lot of things to work on. So I feel like I'm growing. I'm growing.
What's the first thing you look at after a game, like week 1, week 2, whatever week it is? What's the first thing you're keying in on from your tape?
From my tape, I'm looking at what I could have did better. I go through each play one by one and look at what I could have did better for myself, because I feel like football is a team sport, but everybody got to do their 111th. So I feel like me doing my job will help the team pull forward. Everybody got to be pulling the rope in the same direction. So I look to see what I could have did better on each play, like whether it's blocking or hand position or like yards at the catch, stuff like that. So
Obviously, you enjoy making offensive plays, but you're also out there as a gunner.
yes.
Which type of play, which side of the ball are you more excited to make a play on?
That's a great question. 'Cause I played defense in high school as well, which was a while back though. I'd probably say I'm just excited to make a play in general. So I'd probably say both. Like that's a hard question though. That's a hard question. Because special teams is actually more impactful than the plays on offense. I feel like change of possession and you playing both offense and defense essentially. Like so, I'd probably say both.
Any other questions for X? Thank you, sir.
Appreciate y'all.
I get one.
One more.
Yeah. So it's like 30. I heard Coach Satterfield say it's 34 people that debuted today. So with you being a vet, like, what do you think you guys could be better?
What do I think we could do better?
Yeah.
Ball security is one. I feel like the ball's on the ground. Ball's on the ground today. I feel like ball security is one thing we could hone in on, and just playing clean in general, penalty free, and not beating ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Just doing our job, play by play.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, X.
Jared, first time here getting to play that middle linebacker spot. Did it feel good to kind of get out there and let it loose a little bit and fly around?
Yeah, it felt great. I've been excited really since fall camp to see what it's like to be on the field, be able to be in that spot, leading my guys out there. There's a lot of opportunities at the middle linebacker spot to affect the game. And I think as the season goes on, I have a lot of chances to do that.
Already talking about next week, but you got to play Pitt next week. Do you feel you have to, as a team, play better defensively?
Absolutely. With the first game of the season, there's a lot of mistakes and stuff like that. But not only was it the first game of the season, it was the first game we played as this defense for the season. So there's a lot of mistakes that we got to fix, a lot of small things that turn to big things. But we'll have all those fixed by the time the next week comes.
What do you like about how many guys were rotated today? Do you feel like it was a good thing to get a lot of fresh faces in there and get a lot of reps for more depth guys and instead of starters the entire game?
One of our non-negotiables on defense is absolute pursuit to the ball. You know what I mean? Just getting there. And I think that being able to rotate our guys, because our depth is pretty deep, especially at linebacker and D-line, being able to rotate our guys, keep us fresh, keep us going out throughout the game, throughout the season.
You guys only allowed 3 points in the second half. So was there adjustments you guys made at halftime to go from giving up 17 in the first half to only a field goal on the first drive of the second half?
It was just playing our defense, how we can play it. I mean, like I said earlier, we made a lot of mistakes. This is the first game of the season, first game of this defense. I think that once we came in for halftime and came back out, we were really level grounded and we did what we know we could do.
You had the first sack today. Do you let those big fellas up front know about that?
Yeah, sure.
How far along do you think you guys are in understanding the defense, and how much do you think it'll help now having a game on tape?
I think this game will help tremendously. I feel as if this was like a floor or ceiling type thing, we're closer to the floor, but the ceiling was going to continue to get higher and higher as the season goes on. We're going to continue to improve.
One more question.
Jaquan Sanks made his first start today as a true freshman. Just what did you see out of him, and how much did he impact your defense?
Yeah, I love Sanks. He's a really hardworking guy. He's a very athletic guy, especially as a freshman. His work ethic's amazing. I think that as he continues to grow, as he continues to get more reps throughout the season, he's going to become a really good player.
Thanks, Jared.
Thank you, guys.
We've got Joe Royer coming next.
Joe, good start to the Cincinnati era of your career. How'd you feel getting out there and getting open and making some plays?
Yeah, it felt great. It's been a long time since I played a lot of ball like that, and I'm just trying to get back to what I know and what I know I'm capable of. So it felt good, and just getting an opportunity to catch some ball and make a play. Try to do what I could.
What percentage of the West Side do you think was in attendance?
I'd say about 50 of them. 50% of the stadium was probably West Siders, if I had to guess. But I'm sure I had a lot of family and stuff here, so it was good to see them.
Do you kind of have a sense for how cohesive the offense felt as a whole in that game, and do you think you have something that you can build on going into next week?
Yeah, I think, and everyone always says that you make the biggest jumps from week 1 to week 2. There's obviously things all position groups can work on. There's some things I could have done better myself as well. But, as the season goes on, I think you'll see, we'll be a well-oiled machine as the season goes on. And I think we'll just get better and better each week.
Just for your family, what does today mean? You had more catches today than you had up there, and I figured that would happen. You nearly broke one for a touchdown. You're awfully close. I don't have the catapult time on you for that, but what did it mean for your family just to be here to watch Joe Royer do what he does?
Yeah, just seeing all them after the game, feeling their love and kind of support they had for me, and it meant a lot to me out there today. But I think it probably meant more or equal amount to some of them, especially my dad. He's not really an emotional guy, but I could tell he's a little emotional after the game just talking to him, and he was happy that I was able to go out there and play today. So it just felt good.
Walk us through the play in the first half. You catch the ball on the sideline, then you hurdle the defender. Was that just something you saw him and you went in jump mode, or was it just, you trying to make a play?
I've never done that in my life. In a game or practice, I'm serious. In high school, we weren't allowed to hurdle. It would be a penalty, and I really never had much opportunities up at Ohio State. But I just knew I was a little guy, and I was a lot bigger than him, so I figured he was probably going to try to dive at my feet. So as soon as I saw him kind of go in there, I was like, well, I'm going to see what happens. And luckily, he didn't, clip my foot or catch me in the air and make me look stupid, so I'm glad I got over him.
Were you surprised yourself when you did?
Yeah, a little bit. I think I was shaking my head because I was like, wow, that worked. I'm not going to try to make it a habit, but if I see a guy about to go low on me, maybe, I got that option to jump now. But, yeah, I think I surprised myself a little bit, yeah.
What do you think was the kind of biggest reason why you guys stalled out a little bit in the second half compared to the great start in the first half?
Probably just a little bit of fatigue, I would say. It was a long game. I felt like we ran a lot of plays, had a lot of yards and everything, and it's tough in the second half coming back out with the kind of the same fire you have. But yeah, that's something as a whole we can work on as a team.
Being from Cincinnati, knowing you're playing Pittsburgh next week, what does that rivalry mean to you, and how excited are you to be able to play in that game at Nippert Stadium next Saturday?
Yeah, being from here, I grew up a little bit of a Bearcat fan, honestly. My grandpa played at Notre Dame, so I was kind of a Notre Dame guy. But, as I came in here in the winter, learning more about kind of the rivalries we had, it means a lot to me now. And getting the chance to play in it, will be special. I'm glad we get to play at Nippert next week. And, got to have a good game and beat those guys up there.
Cool. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, everyone.
Appreciate you guys.